Hello, very good afternoon, dear students. So this is a continuation of week 6 video. So that day, so far that I remembered, I had to abruptly end my slides and there was a technical issue and I need your support in such situation. So I'll just pick up from where I ended. So we were discussing about media literacy and most particularly about the news literacy on that day. So we discussed about, how can we become a news literate. So there is one more, way to become a news literate, and that is about, developing a tendency of impartial reading of news report, which we will discuss in our following slides. So you will come across several news reports which has been published, in different angles. One particular report from 100 different media platforms, media outlets, they cover it in 100 different ways. So it may not be possible for us, to go through all those, but it is our responsibility as a student of journalism and media, and even if you are to become media literate or news literate, most particularly that we are discussing today, we have to understand this, that how to develop an impartial reading of a particular news report. And why is it important to go through all the news reports that have been published on a particular news issue in 100 different ways? Why is it that important? And why am I emphasizing on it in order to become a news literate? It is not about the, impartial writing of news by the media outlet. I'm not blaming the media here. So media has their own agenda. They cannot, come up with the entirety of the context. They try their best, but it's not possible for them to. Just like the way it's not possible for us to scrutinize, each and every information that is passing through us. Similar is the case with the media. So they will just pick up a one particular angle of a particular issue and then they will try to bring it before us. So it is our responsibility to consume, whether to, fall victim of only one particular type of report or only one angle in which a report has been published. It is a big question for us. It is not about, distortion of facts and figures that we are alleging media outlets have been doing. We are not telling that. We're telling that despite whatever the facts and figures the media have represented, that's their job. But our job is to dig deep into those facts and figures and trace to the source of the news story on that particular issue. So it's very important that, to get the impartial reading of the report, you don't have to rely on a particular news report or on a particular coverage of an issue. So different media outlets have their own angles of reporting, and that is a skill, that is a tendency of the people working in a particular media outlet. And that same skill, same tendency, we as a media or news literate, we also have to develop. As in our earlier video, we discussed about, how each one of us have our own news feed, and how, despite scrolling down and getting the information on a particular issue from our news feed, how much it is important to, go beyond the news feed that we are consuming, right? So it is the need of the hour to understand different approaches that media outlets, follow in order to cover a particular issue. You'll find there are many examples in this slide. I have put a link through which it will lead to you, it will lead you to a website where you will find that how a particular story has been covered from 3, 4, 5 different angles and from different ideologies. So for example, the story that I have, cited here, it is about, illegal immigrants during the Biden administration and what are the decisions being taken in regard to the illegal immigrants. And this particular news has been covered in different perspective, in different ideologies, from the right perspective, from the left perspective, from the center perspective. So it's very important to understand what different ideology or what different ideology have their own perception of an issue, and that is how media outlets, they try to cover them. So this is just an example. The link to the website that I have put here, it is just an example to make you, understand that how a particular, issue can be approached in 100 different ways. So, it is important that, or you may not find that one particular media outlet cover a particular issue in 100 different ways. It may not be possible for a particular media outlet. So in that case, it is our duty and responsibility to dig deep into all those different media platforms, all those different, media agencies, the media, channels, the traditional form of media, the what's going on this particular issue on digital platform. So that is how, we follow news, as we discussed our first slide of the week 6 video, right? Instead of reading news, how do we follow news? So this is how, we become news literate. Now let's try to understand what is an, or how do we become an information literate. So on that day, I made a very clear distinction between all these three terms: news literate, news literacy, information literacy, and media literacy. So now let's discuss about how to become, an information literate. So when we say about, information literacy, it is basically, what we have already discussed in our earlier, classes of previous weeks, like, in this world of a sea of information, how we failed to cope up with the information. So there are, some elements that are taking the advantage of our incapability of coping up with the information or keeping up the information. So there are some elements who are taking the advantage. What are those elements? Those elements can be fake news. Okay, so there is a tussle these days between the fake news and the alternative facts. So we will discuss about the fake news in our next videos very clearly, because we have a full dedicated class on fake news. We'll be discussing on that. But yeah, fake news is one of the element that is taking the advantage of the, information overload, that is taking the advantage of the people, that is, creating a sensation over some issues and grabbing attention of the people to believe in a content that is very sensation, that may not be, based on any verifiable facts or source, which is simply about false information, right? So in order to become an information literate, we have to, draw a line of difference between, what is fake news and how this fake news can be countered with the alternative facts and figures. Okay, so in this video I'm not going to discuss in, detail about the fake news and what are the different ways to counter those, because we'll be having videos on that obviously later. But yeah, apart from these, the tussle between the fake news, the false information, and the right approach to address these false information and correct them, there are also some other elements. There is this entire ecosystem of false information, and within these ecosystem, fake news is one of the element. Other than fake news, you'll find misinformation, you'll find disinformation and malinformation, which are about false information, okay, some of which are created intentionally in order to divert the mind of the people from the very actuality of the message, the very reality of the message that is inherited in a news content, okay. And some may not be intended, or some may not be intentionally created. Some may be distortion of facts and figures, some may be a fabrication of the information. So in these information overload world, where people already is struggling with the burden of all this information and trying to you know find out which information is correct and which is not, trying to analyze, trying to assess, evaluate the information, the right information, all these elements, these are taking the advantage in order to make the people, or yeah, victim of the false information. So it's very important to verify the sources, verify the facts on which the information that is circulating is based upon. It's very important to verify those. It's in order to become an information literate, or yeah, it is the first and foremost duty of ours to go and trace the source of the information, from where it is coming across, right? So verification is very important. We have to trace the source, we have to find out the figures, facts. And as I said in my earlier video also, that it's not only about the facts, but it's also very important to find out the truth behind the facts, whether those facts are also true or not. That is also one of the big tasks in this information disorder scenario, right? So how can we do that in order to tackle with all this information, sort out which one is the misinformation, disinformation, fake news, and which one is the right information to go with? It's very important to know that what are the different repositories of information, valid sources of information. It's very important to have that knowledge. If we are coming across an information, it's very important to have a doubt on that information at the very first impression. Looking upon any information that is passing through you is to have a doubt over that, is to put a question on that, and try to dig deep into the source of that information and find out exactly from where it has started. So if you are finding an information about health circulating in social media, it is not our duty to just without verifying its facts, without verifying the source from where this information has come, we should not just share it. We should first get the facts right of all those information, and in order to do that, the best way to verify those information is to look into the concerned departments of those information. For example, if the information is about health, try to go to the Ministry of Health, try to go to the repositories of health information, government, non-government, there are many, even some surveys, even some research reports, some, yeah, all these can help you find out the valid information about the health. Or in that case, it may be of any field, not only health, education, right? Politics. So it may be of any issue. So it's very important to, have the knowledge of information repositories where I will find the valid information on a particular field. Okay. So one most important, you know, thing or approach that can make us a robust, literate person in case of the information is concerned, is to engage in scholarly discussions, is to, conduct a debate, a small debates among, the friends, among the, we should ask question, we should take question and go to our professor and then have a debate over that. So this is one of the, because other than that, all other approaches that I have discussed, all these are dependent upon the, technology. All these are dependent upon the, science and technology, right? These are dependent upon the devices, and technology can go wrong anytime. You people are, yeah, you cannot deny the fact that people are becoming, they are increasingly becoming dependent upon the digital devices. That's true, but on our part, it is the most reliable way to approach with all this information, misinformation, disinformation, fact news, verification process of this information, is to have a discussion over it, which has always remained a valid way to find out the, very source of any information, which has always remained, a convenient and the most reliable way. And even today, I believe, I personally believe that this is how we can, bring change in the scenario of this digital environment where so much of misinformation, fact news, disinformation is going on. So this can be one of the robust way of verifying information. Conduct a discussion. Yeah, even I'm not telling that may be formal or informal discussion. Just ask a question, take a question to your professor. Yeah, ask question to yourself, discuss with your friends, discuss with your family members in the most simple way, right? So this is how, we become information literate. So in this video, I think I'll end here, and in my next video I'll discuss about the other topics related to media literacy. Okay, so thank you so much.